The sun rises over a pixelated jungle, leaves shimmering in perfect 16x16 textures, as if painted by the oldest sprite artist in the realm. But instead of the usual serenade of parrots and ocelots, the air is filled with screams of delight and the occasional ominous hiss. Though not from animals, but from mobs running their very own bizarre theme park. Creepers, those infamous green TNT sticks, stand behind cotton candy carts, their fizzes barely controlled as they carefully produce sugary clouds without detonating in a spectacular mess. Zombies, unmistakably clumsy yet oddly joyful, bump bumper cars into one another, groans of faux anger barely hiding their glee. Overseeing this pixelated pandemonium is an admin, one eye twitching, the other wide open, who's gone slightly bonkers with spawn eggs, conjuring mobs at random with mischievous glee, turning the park into a living, breathing carousel of chaos. The camera pans to the sky where a sudden ripple splits the clouds like a glitch in the Matrix. From this portal, as if dropped from a celestial dispenser, tumbles a blocky figure. A barista, no less, clad in a leather apron marked with an intricate pixelated coffee bean emblem. Clutched tightly in one pixelated hand is a diamond coffee grinder that glimmers unnaturally, reflecting the chaos below. He lands hard, sending a tiny puff of square dust into the saturated jungle air, and looks around, this new world unfolding before him like a fever dream crafted by the redstone gods themselves. Chaos is officially brewed. This is more than just an unusual workplace accident. It's the beginning of a coffee-fueled quest that will ripple across the very fabric of this Minecraft-powered internet apocalypse. Our barista, who insists we call him Brewster Beans, the very name evoking the deep aroma of freshly ground adventure, blinks his blocky eyes as mobs run past him, some dressed in neon roller coaster operator vests, others juggling fireballs just for fun. Brewster's first mission: find the lost ingredient that can fix the internet's crashing servers. Because here, in this twisted matrix, the entire internet, emails, memes, even cat videos, runs on a fuel far more potent than electricity. Coffee, and not just any coffee. The finest, smoothest, diamond-ground espresso that keeps the endless string of data flowing like lava through an underground fortress. But nothing worth grinding comes easy. First, Brewster has to navigate the chaotic theme park, a sprawling nightmare of pixel-perfect roller coasters looping through giant pixel art billboards promoting the latest in enchanted lattes and potion-infused mochas. Above him, a giant iron golem rides a Ferris wheel like a gentle giant bouncer watching over the crowd, its stone fists resting casually on the railings. Brewster's new world smells of sugar, burnt pixel popcorn, and faint whiffs of scorched coffee beans, the delicate scent of digital decay. As he steps cautiously over what looks like a line of spider traffic controllers, trying to redirect a stampede of skeletons racing in go-karts, Brewster mutters, "Okay, how hard can finding one special coffee bean be?" The atmosphere responds with a nearby creeper's exaggerated fizzle that sounds suspiciously like a sarcastic laugh track every corner. He turns, reveals another absurd twist. There's a maze made entirely of enchanted dirt blocks, each mutating if you stand still too long in one spot, turning harmless grass into carnivorous pixel vines that whisper your internet is down. Just as you run screaming, Brewster narrowly escapes, coffee grinder spinning like a windmill ready to add an extra shot of adrenaline to his morning dot. Brewster needs allies. Quickly, amidst the chaos, he spots a peculiar figure perched on a pixel log bench, an Enderman wearing oversized glasses, nervously holding a bundle of code scrolls like sacred texts. Brewster approaches cautiously. The Enderman clears his throat, and in a voice that sounds like a pixelated modem struggling to connect, he says, "You're looking for the nether bean. Legend says it's the only item capable of rebooting the core, the heart of the internet." Brewster's diamond grinder nearly slips from his hand. The nether bean. "Sounds spicy," Brewster quips, half expecting the Enderman to vanish as mysteriously as he appeared. But the Enderman just nods sagely, adjusting his glasses. Only found deep in the Nether, a place where lag spikes faster than a creeper's detonation with no other choice, Brewster grabs the Enderman's data scrolls. Time to travel to the Nether, a fiery dimension notorious not just for its hellish glowstone views, but for housing the biggest lag spikes in Minecraft history. If the internet is blocky and chaotic now, wait until it's literally hell on pixelated wheels. But first, Brewster has to survive the park's final test. The admins spawn egg frenzy. Suddenly, the jovial park turns into a mob convention gone wild. Ghasts float by, shrieking what sound suspiciously like distorted warning messages. Witches zoom past on broomsticks that leave spark trails of corrupted data. The scene is equal parts carnival and disaster movie, staring every Minecraft mob you forgot you hated until now. Despite the madness, Brewster only has one thought: must find coffee. In the midst of this pixelated maelstrom, Brewster's diamond grinder hums softly, the sound strangely calming. It's not just a tool, it's his beacon of hope, a coffee-powered compass guiding him through the madness, just as a creeper with a cotton candy cart wanders too close. Seriously, who thought combining explosives and sugar was a safe theme park idea? Brewster leaps aside, narrowly avoiding a sugary explosion that temporarily turns the world into pink blocks. As pink as the clouds over a reset server. Amidst the cotton candy chaos, Brewster spots a set of glowing coordinates blinking above the administration tower. The erratic eye of the admin himself, now encased in code, swinging wildly between spawn eggs and coffee potions. Brewster knows it's time to move fast. Every second spent idling risks another wave of random mobs flooding the park. And worse, a sudden coffee shortage. Our barista pushes onwards, dodging flying eggs and data glitches, his mind racing faster than a piston-powered minecart. Somewhere beyond this pixel pandemonium lies the beacon, the Nether portal, ancient, glitchy, pulsing with the promise of the elusive Nether bean. He takes one last look back at the absurd theme park, a chaotic haven where zombies honk bumper cars and creepers sweeten the air, and a bittersweet smile forms on his squared-off lips. Because in this world, everything is powered by blocks, bytes, and a whole lot of brews, and Brewster beans. He's about to grind through the apocalypse, one block, one bean, and one chaotic spawn egg at a time. But first, the Nether. Because if Minecraft powers the entire internet, then coffee isn't just a drink, it's the ultimate code. And as the portal hums to life, flickering with wild, unstable energy, Brewster takes a deep breath. The internet apocalypse might be chaotic, absurd, even downright explosive. But for a coffee-fueled barista dropped into the madness, it's just another day to brew up a legendary adventure. What awaits on the other side? Monsters, more chaos, the perfect cup of pixelated perfection. Only the next chapter will tell. For now, Brewster's quest has begun, and the coffee grinder never looked so dangerously diamond sharp. A thunderous crack echoes through the pixelated sky, lightning jagging across the square clouds like a glitching fiber optic cable. The entire Minecraft internet is flickering, as if jittering on the brink of a digital migraine. Below this jittery chaos, our hero stands firm. Blocky Bob, the world's only semi-reliable Java programmer turned pixelated apocalypse survivalist. Sporting a pixelated coffee-stained lab coat and a helmet shaped suspiciously like a creeper's head, Bob squints into the distance, clutching what looks like the world's nerdiest compass, a glowing redstone map purportedly guiding him to the last analog caffeine tap in the net realm. Because let's be honest, when the entire internet is powered by Minecraft blocks and everything is screaming internally to shut down, the fate of humanity now hinges on one absurd quest: find coffee. Not just any coffee, but the legendary brew block, the last known source of unscripted energy capable of rebooting the mainframe before an eternal internet outage. Of course, there's a catch, or several. The universe has decided that the coffee's location isn't written in reliable code, but in the elusive, cryptic artifacts of vanilla Minecraft lore. And vanilla lore is about as reliable as a redstone door that only works on Tuesdays. The grounds of the Great Pixel Plains lie ahead, a vast biome where server lag slows time like molasses running uphill. The grass blocks gleam almost unnaturally green, the square blades twirling with a rhythmic jitter that almost feels alive. Blocky Bob takes a deep breath as the scent of hyper-caffeinated pixels fills the air. A bizarre bouquet of burnt toast, over-roasted beans, and electrical undertones that tickle the circuits of his synthetic sinuses. It's not what you'd call a good smell, but it sure beats the scent of burnt code. The plains are alive with bustling NPC villagers oddly obsessed with brewing their own blocky Java, some running makeshift Minecraft espresso stands, others crafting elaborate redstone coffee machines that seem to defy logic by spewing steam and sometimes random potions. One villager hustles by, his Minecraft voice chip-crackling, yelling fresh pixel beans. Guaranteed to lag your system for only half a second. Bob waves him off with a sigh, mindful this isn't a quest for pedestrian satellite signal juice. He is after the genuine brew block, a mythical block said to spontaneously generate coffee, brewing eternally yet accessible only through a convoluted set of rituals involving enchanted coffee mugs, potion-infused milk buckets, and the sacrifice of a gold block of JavaScript. Because, yes, even in this blocky domain, caffeine runs on sacrifices to the gods of code. As Bob steps deeper into the Great Pixel Plains, the environment shifts imperceptibly. The grass blocks give way to a sprawling maze of towering coffee trees, branches pixel-stacked like massive green Tetris pieces, each sprouting tiny glowing coffee cherries that pulse faintly, as though aware of their role in the caffeine apocalypse. But these aren't your grandmother's coffee trees. No, they're defended by mobs with particularly bizarre behavior. Zombie baristas shuffle through the underbrush, their blocky hands clutching latte art stencils instead of weapons, murmuring unsettling phrases like, "Your order's been decafed," before attempting to mop Bob up with steaming cups of pixelated espresso. Meanwhile, creepers lounged lazily in hammocks strung between tree branches, smoking virtual cigars that emit harmless confetti and humming jazzy beats, as if oblivious to the apocalypse unfolding. At the center of the coffee forest stands a monolithic structure, a gigantic espresso machine, the size of 4 Minecraft castles, hissing and pumping clouds of pixel steam that condense into obscure, indecipherable code fragments swirling above. Bob approaches cautiously, the ground beneath his boots littered with spilled packets of pixel sugar and tippet-over mugs inscribed with cryptic sigils. According to lore, this machine isn't just a coffee maker. It's a server node where the brew block pulses with digital energy so pure it could reawaken corrupted user data and perk up zombie servers suffering from chronic outage syndrome. But the espresso monolith is malfunctioning, glitching between spray patterns and error messages pixelated in red and gold. Dripping hot coffee into the void like a broken caffeine heart. Bob pulls out his trusted tool, a hacking pickaxe, its metal gleaming with the faint aura of enchantments, code-savvy and fully equipped to hack any block or bite. With a comedic grunt, he swings at a nearby control panel. Sparks fly like tiny fireworks, and a chorus of musical bloops emerges, reminiscent of 8-bit coffee percolators, but less soothing and more probably about to crash. Suddenly, the machine spits out a blocky cup, steaming and wobbling suspiciously on the rim, as if the system is as confused about order fulfillment as a sleep-deprived barista at peak hour. Bob catches it, victorious yet wary, knowing this cup is not just liquid caffeine. It's an interface, a puzzle, a key to unlocking the deeper layers of the coffee apocalypse. The cup's handle glows an eerie neon cyan, displaying a cryptic riddle: to brew or not to brew. Process the data, then path is renewed. Bob squints, taps the cup's side with his pickaxe. Enter the Redstone Riddlers, a quirky band of keyboard warrior skeletons dressed in pixelated hipster glasses and oversized beanie hats, tapping quickly at invisible keyboards. They chatter between themselves, syntax error in the foam art. We need a lambda cappuccino to decode this. Bob's eyebrow twitches. Lambda cappuccino? He mutters because in this mixed-up Minecraft reality, yes, even coffee orders sound like programming errors. The Riddlers explain their theory. The espresso monolith runs on a Java code brewed from the fusion of lambda functions and artisanal block roasting. Without correctly inputting this callback function, the system's trapped in an infinite loop of tasteless brew. In other words, the apocalypse persists. Without missing a beat, Bob and the Redstone Riddlers embark on a frantic coding quest. They race through a labyrinth of digital coffee plants, collecting rare coffee beans pixelated with glowing alphanumeric tags. Each brew blends into a potion bottle, fizzing with strange colors. One bean roasting in a furnace creates an ender spirit fluttering by, impatient and seemingly jittering from too much digital caffeine. Another roasting produces a strange effect on Bob's inventory, turning some blocks into floating coffee cups that bob in zero gravity briefly before slipping back into pixels. Their journey is abruptly interrupted when a massive glitch creeper detonates nearby, not with a traditional explosion, but by releasing a burst of corrupted data packets in cascading shapes resembling spilled coffee splashes. The splash forms a temporary illusion. A giant coffee mug pouring an endless river of black Java, flooding the plains and threatening to drown the entire pixelated ecosystem. Bob jumps backward, narrowly avoiding being soaked and permanently Java-drenched. Applying his glitch shield, a strange amalgamation of diamond and caffeine artifacts, he shields the gang, though his boots squelch oddly with each step as spilled coffee pixelates and seeps into the soil beneath them. The glitch explosion also destabilizes the espresso monolith. Alarms blare, pixelated sirens sending waves of redstone signals, and the whole machine starts vibrating violently, threatening to melt down in a spectacular spray of hot Java lava and debugging code fragments. Time to debug this brew, Bob snarls, determination flashing in his cube eyes. He pulls out the final piece of the puzzle, an enchanted coffee filter shaped like a rare nether quartz crystal, rumored to filter out all bugs and glitches in a code, and apparently coffee. Installing it just right, the machine calms, hissing softly, and starts churning a steady output of silky smooth digital coffee. A rainbow of code-coded steam spirals upward, stabilizing the entire network node. The villagers' chatter returns to normal, the zombie baristas stop mopping, and even the creepers nod approvingly from their hammocks dot in the distance. The vast blocknet, the interconnected system powering the very fabric of the Minecraft internet apocalypse, pulses back to life, one pixelated node at a time. But as our hero sips the glowing brew block coffee from a freshly brewed cup, savoring a momentary victory, the map blinks with a warning. Imminent packet loss detected. Next node offline in T-5 minutes. Bob wipes a pixel bead of sweat from his blocky brow. The caffeine might have restarted one part of the machine, but the real fight is just beginning. Because in this world, powered entirely by Minecraft blocks, coffee isn't just a beverage. It's the only hope to keep chaos from crashing the entire digital dimension. And somewhere out there, the next coffee quest waits, promising cold brews, hotter messes, and a caffeine-induced adventure that might just scramble reality itself. Bob cracks a grin beneath his creeper helmet. Let's get brewing. Imagine a world where the very fabric of the internet is stitched together by blocky pixels and pixelated pixels, where every web page, every meme, every viral cat video is powered not by sleek silicon circuits, but by the humble, cuba-shaped circuits of Minecraft's pixelated heart. This is where we find our intrepid hero. Steve, the unlikely savior armed with a diamond pickaxe and a suspiciously oversized coffee mug emblazoned with a creeper face. Amid the pixelated apocalypse, with servers glitching and memes crashing like digital waves, there's one quest that absolutely must be fulfilled. One hope, one elixir, one steaming cup of Minecraft coffee strong enough to reboot the entire internet. Welcome to the coffee quest. Steve stands on the ragged edge of the Great Pixel Rift, a yawning chasm in the digital sky where chunks of corrupted code rain down in glitchy storms. The landscape around him is a bizarre mashup of recognizable internet landmarks twisted into Minecraft form. A blocky Twitter bird flapping hopelessly in a cyclone of binary code, the Google search bar sprawled like an ancient stone tablet, and the spinning YouTube play button stuck in a perpetual buffering loop. Above it all looms the iconic Minecraft overworld sun, glowing with an ominous pixel-orange hue, threatening to set the whole network ablaze if Steve fails. His mission: to track down the mythical coffee beans of Cyberraya, said to grow only in the deepest, darkest corners of the Nether. A notoriously glitchy and hostile Minecraft dimension now tangled with internet cyber confusion. The overworld air vibrates with static electricity and the faint buzzing of dropped connections, like a swarm of angry bees caught in a lag storm. Steve's boots crunch on a landscape littered with discarded pixel rubrics, shattered emoticons, fallen hashtags, and broken URLs, each a casualty of the internet's slow shutdown. A nearby Blocky pop-up ad flaps miserably like a trapped bird trying to escape. Click here to continue. It pleads in pixelated agony. Steve shoulders his pack, jangling with pixelated potion bottles labeled energy and focus. Every twitch of the world feels like a server hiccup waiting to collapse, but Steve marches on with stubborn determination. He's no ordinary blocksmith. The man's heard the legends of Cyberraya's coffee beans, rumored to boost the internet's bandwidth so fiercely. Websites could load in an instant, and gamers would never lag again. If Steve can harvest those beans, maybe, just maybe, the internet apocalypse can be reversed. The first part of Steve's quest takes him into the pixelated wilderness of the dark oak forest of DDoS, where giant blocky trees pulse with a weird digital energy, twisted in neon green and electric blue veins that crackles like corrupted Wi-Fi signals. Thunderstorms here drop tiny pixel squalls of data fragments, and Steve weaves between the glitchy trunks, dodging falling error 404 leaves that shimmer and disappear in his presence. Like lost web pages fading into the void, his diamond pickaxe glows faintly, charged with residual data power as he hacks through blocky brush and tangled vines twisted like tangled cables. Suddenly, from the digital underbrush, a flock of pixelated phishing scams, shaped like angry paperclip familiars gone rogue, flaps toward him. Steve swings his pickaxe with precision, breaking chunks off their glitchy forms as they explode into streams of harmless pop-up ads. A short, pixelized creature wearing a wizard's hat pops up from behind a block. It's Enchantress Bite, the pixel sorceress who trades in coded spells and digital trivia. Looking for the coffee beans of Cyberraya? She asks, voice glitching slightly like a dropped audio packet. Y'all need a password. Coffee 123, she says with a wink, the classic but somehow effective internet password, and vanishes in a puff of data smoke. Steve chuckles. That's suspiciously obvious, he mutters, but notes the password carefully on his pixelated map, the handwritten fonts wobbling as the HUD flickers around him. The quest is less about strength and more about clever hacking through this digital wilderness emerging from the dark oak forest. Steve reaches the edges of the Nether, the horrifying digital underworld of viral viruses and corrupted firewalls portrayed as a vast lava ocean of molten code blocks. Hordes of pixelated ghasts, those ghostly white cube creatures, float about, sending waves of scrambled data blasts that sound suspiciously like dial-up internet noises. The air is thick with static and the smell of burnt circuits. Steve spots his goal. A sprawling fortress made of obsidian firewalls, glowing orange veins pulsing with coded power, guarded by zombie moderators. Half-been hammer wielding, half-sassy undead staff enforcing the dreaded no memes allowed policy. Getting past them is no small task, and Steve crouches behind a corrupted pixel pillar, plotting his next move. Suddenly, one of the moderators yells, "Who dares disturb our eternal buffering?" A moment of tense pixel-hacking standoff. Steve shouts, "Just here for the coffee beans." The moderator's blocky jaw drops. "Coffee? You mean the legendary Java beans?" "Yes," Steve replies. "They say these beans can power the servers and end the endless buffering." The moderator laughs, a hollow, glitchy sound, and gestures dramatically to an elevator made entirely of stacked coffee mugs, labeled server room access. Lucky for you, there might be a way in. But beware, this fortress isn't just guarded by us. The firewall dragon awakens after midnight, and it's got a bad temper. With a nod and a gulp of pixelated courage, Steve steps into the coffee mug elevator, ascending through frothing tiers of latte foam rails and espresso shot pistons. Every level vibrates with distant echoes of crashing tabs and failed page loads. The elevator stops with a sudden jerk, depositing him in the heart of the fortress, where the beans are rumored to be grown. An enormous bioluminescent Java jungle, dense with glowing vine strings of caffeine-rich coffee cherries. The air here tingles with jittery energy, as if everything is running at 200% speed. Steve can feel his pixelated heart beating faster, the coffee aroma so strong it's almost turbocharging his limbs. As he moves through the jungle, strange pixel critters skitter past, jitterbugs spitting espresso shots like tiny caffeine cannons, and zipstream birds flapping so fast they're nearly invisible. Dropping encrypted seed packets deeper into the jungle, Steve finds the coffee beans of Cyberraya. Massive, blocky coffee cherries glowing with a molten caramel light on twisted vine webs. Just as he reaches out, a low rumble shakes the fortress. The firewall dragon, a gargantuan creature built of flame-coated fire, glowing firewall scripts, and streaming firewall logs, emerges with a volcanic roar. Pixelated flames and error messages hiss from its maw. Steve freezes midreach. For a moment, the dragon looks at him, then sneezes a pixelated puff of coffee steam, temporarily blinded by caffeine overload. "Bless me," it mutters in a surprisingly polite robotic growl. "These beans are stronger than I remember." Seizing the moment, Steve snatches a glowing coffee cherry and darts into a thicket of encrypted data bushes, their sharp pixelated thorns barely missing his boots. The chase is on, a furious dash through glowing vines and jumping obsidian blocks, the dragon's pixelated claws smashing the ground, releasing bursts of static shock waves that overload nearby circuits. With every step, Steve's lungs burn with digital exertion. But he remembers the enchanted password from Enchantress Bite. He taps Coffee 123 into his wrist HUD, unleashing a sudden burst of schematic hacks that momentarily freeze the dragon in a loop of forever loading screens. The dragon snarls, caught in an infinite buffering loop, and spins dizzily, giving Steve the precious seconds he needs to escape the nether and return to the overworld back on solid digital ground. Steve takes a moment, gazing at the glowing coffee cherry pulsing warmly in his hand. The oppressive haze of buffering and lag around him seems to lessen, the colors brighten, and even the pixelated Twitter bird above flaps with renewed energy, tweeting in 3 different glitchy languages simultaneously. But the quest isn't over, for Steve knows this is just the beginning. The coffee beans of Cyberraya must be brewed, and brewed correctly, to reboot the internet's entire infrastructure. And that means finding the legendary diamond coffee maker, rumored to be hidden deep within the realm of obsolete plugins, guarded by the long-forgotten spam bots. Spam bots who survive on endless loops of unsolicited messages and bad puns. As Steve sips from his oversized creeper mug, his eyes gleaming with caffeinated determination, the digital horizon flickers. A massive pop-up appears, filled with the words, "Loading Part 4, the brew awakens." Somewhere in the warped code beneath, a faint robotic laugh echoes, promising chaos, coffee, and a final showdown that could either save or completely corrode the internet itself. The pixels, like grains of digital sand, hang in the virtual air, waiting for Steve's next move. Because in a world powered by Minecraft, even the apocalypse runs on caffeine. The sun blinked awake like a giant pixelated eye, casting a harsh, blocky light over the jagged, cuboid chaos that had become the internet-powered world. Here, in this colossal Minecraft meets apocalypse mashup, the stakes had never been higher. Servers were smoke-spewing volcanoes. Wi-Fi signals flared like heat signatures on a digital desert, and the very air buzzed with the electric tension of impending collapse. And smack in the middle of this pixelated pandemonium stood Pip the coffee creeper, 1 part caffeine addict, 2 parts explosion-ready disaster, a full 100% determined to solve the crisis of the crumbling internet. No coffee. Yes, coffee. The lifeblood of every coder and gamer in this world, now mysteriously absent from all digital realms. Without it, the internet was literally flickering out. Websites froze mid-load, memes turned into sad, static blocks, and the memes' digital souls were stuck in eternal buffering purgatory. Pip's mission was simple but perilous. Locate the legendary Java bean mine, the last known source of real coffee beans in the entire Minecraft internet matrix. Because, as any blockhead knew, no coffee meant no power. No power meant, well, no internet apocalypse survival. The landscape begged for attention. Shattered pixel roads paved with melted circuits, and twisted fiber optic vines snaking up ruined data towers shaped like binary trees. Pip adjusted his tiny blocky backpack, stuffed to the brim with emergency packets of sugar cubes and powdered cream, because real cream was gone since the Great Dairy Crash too. With a dramatic puff of pixelated steam from his blocky nostrils, he stepped off the edge of an unstable TCP bridge, carefully dodging a swarm of angry bit-bats, tiny flying creatures made entirely of fragmented code that screeched in hex and glitch. "I really should have brought more snacks," Pip muttered, eyes darting as the ground beneath him crackled with corrupt data. His journey wasn't just physical, it was deeply metaphorical. Traversing the gritty, rip-it-apart silicon cliffs was a trek through the heart of digital despair, where abandoned memes whispered hollow jokes, and crashed web pages lay strewn like ghostly relics of a more connected time. Each step was a gamble, 1 pixel slip away from plunging into the endless abyss of the blue screen river, where lost no-data packets drifted forever. Suddenly, a twitchy shadow popped from behind a pixelated dead tree. Rusty, the ancient robot miner with oil-slicked joints that squeaked louder than a dial-up modem struggling for signal. His one glowing eye flickered in a neon green like a tired server CPU on overclock mode. "Looking for beans, eh?" Rusty rasped, clutching a rusty pickaxe that looked like it had mined more data chunks than anyone cared to count. "They say the Java bean mine isn't just deep underground, it's encrypted." Pip nodded solemnly, his pixelated eyebrows drawing together. Encrypted or not, those beans are our last hope. As they set off together, the terrain shifted wildly. Mountains of discarded motherboards towered overhead, circuits glinting under a low-hanging pixel moon. The air kicked with electric crackle, tension buzzing like a monster creeper about to detonate. Or, as Pip preferred, like that jittery feeling before your caffeine finally kicks in. Their path led through the cache caves, echoing with the distant drip of falling data packets turning into puddles of binary goo. Glowing blocks hovered overhead, failed attempt at a makeshift power grid flickering on and off like a lazy disco light. Rusty kept muttering about authenticity verification and raising the right encryption keys, phrases that sounded suspiciously like excuses to avoid opening scary pixel doors. "What's the deal with the gatekeeper virus guarding the mine?" Pip asked, stepping over a tangle of exposed fiber cables that looked like spine-chilling blocky serpents. "Rumors it's basically a digital dragon. 12 terabytes of nightmare code." Rusty chuckled, a rusty metallic rasp that echoed eerily. More like a bug with anger problems, but yeah, it corrupts everything that tries to pass. Pip sighed. Figures the only thing standing between us and coffee salvation is a grumpy old virus with hissy fits. Suddenly, a sudden rumble shook the digital ground, startling a flock of data birds that exploded into glittering fragments of pixel dust. Ahead, the entrance to the Java bean mine blinked to life, an enormous double door carved from molten circuit boards, flickering with mysterious red code. Pipes hissed with escaping steam, and a faint aroma of roasted coffee. Yes, actual coffee, wafted through the pixelated air like a tantalizing promise. Just as Pip stepped forward to confront the ominous gateway, the glitchy figure of a YouTube algorithm ghost appeared, flickering in and out of existence like a haunted playlist. "You don't want to go in there," it warned in a whispery, robotic tone that crackled with static. "Not unless you want to become unsubscribed." "Ha, I am ready for any unsubscribe button they throw at me," Pip declared, slapping his backpack strap with renewed determination. The algorithm ghost sighed, melting back into the shadows, leaving only a trail of scrolling comments reading LOL, BRB, and ominously, "This is the end." Bracing himself, Pip triggered his pixelated pickaxe, the tools of a miner who wasn't about to let caffeine deprivation win. As the doors creaked open, a rush of aromatic steam exploded outward, swirling with the raw power of encrypted coffee essence. Inside, the mine dazzled with glistening Java beans as big as gold blocks, each vibrating with a strange, potent energy that promised to power not just browsers, but entire worlds. But then, from the depths, emerged the gatekeeper virus, a bloated, blocky serpent woven from dead links and corrupted code lines, eyes glowing with malicious warnings. Pip barely dodged its viral bite, the explosion of failed connections sending shards of pixelated data into the digital air like shattered glass. "Seam on, Rusty. Time to debug," Pip yelled as the robot charged, swinging his pickaxe in a flurry of sparks and glitches. The battle was a beautiful mess of crashing code and jittering frames, each strike causing flickers of lag and patches of spam to rain down like pixelated confetti. Pip leaped through collapsing chunks of corrupted firewall walls, dodging endless pop-ups demanding he click accept cookies for survival. It was absurd, it was frustrating, but damn it, it was all worth it for a single sip of salvation. Finally, with one explosive final swing, Rusty's pickaxe struck the core of the viral beast, triggering a massive purge that sent shockwaves echoing through the pixelated caverns, restoring flow to once-frozen data streams. The gates blinked open fully, revealing the heart of the mine, a bubbling, steaming cauldron of brewing code coffee that shimmered with the promise of life. Pip reached in, his blocky fingers trembling, scooping a cube of the magical, steaming liquid. The moment the iced coffee hit his lips, a wave of clarity surged through his circuits. Pixels sharpened, colors brightened, and for the first time since the apocalypse began, the internet blinked back to life with vibrant, jittery joy. Even the bitbats quieted, momentarily mesmerized by the rich, roasted thrill. With a victorious grin, Pip looked toward the horizon, where pixelated clouds drifted lazily across the waning digital sun. Guess it's time to reboot the world, one cup at a time. As they ascended from the Java bean mine, carrying the precious cache of caffeinated hope, there was a quiet lesson in the pixel breeze. Sometimes the smallest bite, the tiniest sip, has the power to spark a revolution. And in this blocky, chaotic internet apocalypse, it just might be enough to brew a new beginning. But of course, Pip knew this wasn't the end. Far from it. Somewhere out there, deeper in the digital maze, other glitches waited, other viruses lurked. The caffeine might power the internet for now, but the real question was, how long before the next crash? And how many coffees would it take to survive it?